Father God, I pray for blessing over everyone in this room. Pour out your spirit, pour out your blessing.
So I came across this church, right? And it really caught my attention. Like, it's one of those things you just stumble upon online. And suddenly you kind of stop and think, we've got a long way to go as Christians. I mean, I saw this church and it was like for sinners, by sinners. Pretty wild, huh? You know, just by looking at this church poster, you can tell something's off. I mean, just look at how the pastor is dressed. If a pastor's going to take a photo for a church flyer and the wife is dressed like that, yeah, that's already a red flag. But honestly, this is nothing compared to what you're about to see.
You guys, I give you so much honor to introduce you guys to today's preacher. She's known by a lot of different names out there, but I know her as my pastor. Let's give it up, guys, for Pastor Angela.
Awesome.
Yep, that's Pastor Angela, and she's about to drop some serious wisdom with a sermon. But before she does, let me tell you, this church, well, calling it a church feels a bit off to me, but for the sake of understanding, let's just go with that. So this place, it's a pretty unique kind of church. I'm guessing you haven't been to or seen anything like it before. Trust me.
All right. So, I want you guys to repeat after me. I want you to say what, God? All right. 1, 2, 3, say what, God? What? All right, let's do this.
So, this church is called Living Faith Church. It's in Little Italy, downtown San Diego, California. They describe themselves as a Christian charismatic church, and it's run by this couple, Pastor Stephen and Pastor Angela Dela Cruz. Now, here's where it gets really strange. Pastor Angela Dela Cruz, the pastor's wife, she actually works in the corn industry, where she is an adult entertainment actor. And to make things even crazier, her husband, Pastor Stephen, is actually her manager. I mean, that's a whole different level of wild.
So how long have you been in the industry now?
So, actually, October 31st will be my 10 years on my
10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, the thing is, I think I make way more and work less hours than when I work 10, 12-hour days.
I remember those days. She was working, definitely 10-hour, 12-hour days. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep unless she was off cam.
Yeah.
And so but I am the husband of Christy Love.
Yes.
And she actually puts me on her Instagram manager.
Yeah,
So I do get messages a lot of times. And if you're not paying enough, then we're not talking to you for production.
He actually says, if you're not paying enough, we're not talking to you for production. Like, seriously? Even if this wasn't a pastor and his wife, let's say it was just a regular Christian couple. The husband is the booking manager, and he's booking his wife out to other men to do, well, husband and wife things, and even filming it for the public. Just think about that for a second. But here, it's not just any Christian couple, it's a pastor and his wife who's also a pastor doing this. It's really hard to wrap your head around, honestly. The funny part is that Pastor Stephen and Angela Dela Cruz actually met while attending Bible school, Bethany College of the Assemblies of God. Stephen even earned his bachelor's degree in theology and theological studies there. You'd think with that background they'd be all about preaching and living by the word, right?
Oh, Christy, who the heck are you?
Yes. So pretty much about me is that I grew up in a small town called Yuba City. It's in Northern California. And then fast forward, I went to Bible school where actually I felt the call to ministry, actually to become evangelist. And the first day I saw my husband, I just told him, "You're going to be my best friend." I just blurted it out because I just...
And I was weirded out, honestly. She's like a very pretty girl. And I'm like, wait, I just got out of jail and what?
Yeah, so I just had this weird feeling like this is going to be your best friend. And it's 2 weeks later of knowing each other. We just knew we were in for the long haul and we were going to get married. And 4 years later, we graduated and we got married.
So here's the big question. How did these two people who went to Bible school, graduated, and got ordained as ministers of the gospel end up in the corn industry? I mean, seriously, how did that happen?
So I would probably say I guess when we first moved to San Diego, we were looking for a job, and we got hit hard with the 08-09 crash. And so I was on Craigslist and I was looking for a job, and I saw work at home and make good money a week. And I landed on webcamming, and that kind of slowly opened the door. I did really, really well on Flirtatory. That was my first website that I was on. And I did so well that years later on, I said, I want to actually take it to the next level. I want to get into. And I asked my husband about it, and I was like, what do you think? And how was your response to it when I asked?
Well, we've been kinky couple.
Yeah.
Even back in freshman year in college.
Yeah.
So I definitely am not opposed to the lifestyle, but we're pastors.
Yeah.
We went to college to go and be ministers. Like, that was the weird thing about it, is the aspect of that is who we were. We were ministers. We were Christian. We were religious.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, how the heck are we going to go ahead and justify what we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
So, from what I've gathered, when the church that actually ordained them as ministers found out they'd gotten into the corn industry while still showing up as ministers, they had to discipline them, But here's the thing. These two, they weren't having it. They were really stubborn, didn't want to listen to anyone. So instead of taking the advice or changing things up, they just left and decided to start their own church. And they called it A Church for Sinners by Sinners.
Honestly, that's the reason why we started the church.
Yes. Yeah.
We started the church because there is no church that would accept us. Mm-hmm. Now, again, us not being I'm a but us as in sinners, right? We are sinners. So here's the crazy part. A lot of them pastors at churches, I don't care if you're the Pope, guess what? They have sin. Mm-hmm. They sin too. A pastor here in San Diego, a good friend of ours actually, built a church for 25 years, 7,000 people. He messed up with someone and not his wife. And now he lost his entire thing he built up for 25 years. And here's the thing. He's a dude. He met just some kind of disconnect between him and his wife. Mm-hmm. So he cheated on her. And automatically they say, oh, you're a sinner. We can't have you as a pastor. Mm-hmm. And I get it. People are saying, oh, well, there's standard. There's a standard for being pastors and this and that and the other. If everyone actually lived up to the actual standard, no one would be pastors.
Yeah, that's good.
We believe that everyone's a sinner.
Yes.
But you sin differently. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Let's say she gives up this whole. Guess what? She's still going to be a sinner.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
She's still going to be a sinner.
In a really personal Instagram post, Angela called out people who've been judging her for what she does. She shared with her followers that, yeah, she used to struggle with it a lot, but with God's help, she learned to love herself. She said, love me, hate me. I've learned not to care. People will always judge, but the most important thing I've learned is, do I love me? And the answer is yes. She went on to talk about how for years she battled insecurities, constantly worried about what others thought of her, which led her into a downward spiral. It made her feel unworthy, unvalued, and put up walls around people. She felt angry, filled with pain, unforgiveness, depression, anxiety, and hate. But then she said she had a breakthrough. The moment I realized my occupation doesn't define who I am was the moment I was able to begin a process of healing, she wrote. She gave credit to God for that healing, saying, through this healing with God's help, I began to know who I am. Who I am is a confident, beautiful, friendly, kind, funny, generous, and loving person. When I realized who I am, I began to love myself, act and feel like the person I'm supposed to be, and learn to not care so much about what others think. She made it clear again, though, that those who criticize her work in the adult entertainment industry are being unbiblical. Love me, hate me, I don't care because I love who I am, she said. If you judge me because of my occupation, that's your problem. If I did you wrong, approach me so I can fix it and we can resolve it. This is definitely one of those crazy things you find on the internet that makes you stop and think, right? To see like pastors involved in something like this. It's just wild. And then you read the church announcement on Instagram and it says, brand new, inclusive Christian church in downtown San Diego. Come be part of an amazing community that's non-judgmental, open-minded, fun, and loves Jesus. Where else will you find an actress who is also a pastor? This is a unique church that welcomes all sinners but glorifies Jesus. Honestly, I don't even know how to feel about it. I mean, on one hand, I get it. I'm all for inclusivity. People should feel welcome no matter who they are. But mixing that kind of profession with being a pastor, that's where it starts to get a little weird for me. I mean, pastors are supposed to lead by example, right? They're supposed to be these role models showing others what it means to live a Christ-like life. And I'm struggling to see how acting in adult entertainment lines up with that. If I'm being honest, I'd feel uncomfortable reading that announcement. It just doesn't sit right. You can't really preach about grace, love, and forgiveness, and then also be a part of something that, well, feels totally disconnected from the values I'd expect from a Christian pastor. I mean, mixing that kind of career with a role in ministry, it just raises so many questions. It feels like it's not aligning with what I believe should be the heart of a church. So that's what I came across, and I decided to share it with you. What do you think about all this?